After the war ended, women had been empowered and elevated to new levels.
We have a lot of women lawyers here in the bar now, and then we had Zill, so we've come a long way.
But out of those memories came experiences that some of the girls maybe never even imagined. And it was that tough foundation their mothers had instilled in them that helped them press on, even when it seemed almost impossible to move at all.
My mother died 2 weeks before I left to go to law school. She'd never been sick. She died with a stroke, and that almost put almost didn't go to Atlanta, but 2 weeks later I went, and I had a hard time dealing with my mother's death.
And for others, there wasn't a choice.
It was a job, and then I had a son, see. I made it.
And Annie Laurie, she made it home, but not before getting a look at more than a decade of unfolding American history.
I worked as a secretary for 12 years with the Associated Press. I was a secretary to begin with in what they call the features department, where the features and all are written. And then I was transferred to the membership department, the department where newspapers and radio and television and all, which was coming into its own by then. Mickey Mantle came in, was being interviewed, and I met him and said to him, "Mr. Mantle, I have an 8-year-old son who would love to have your autograph." And he just gladly wrote his name down on a piece of paper, and I took it to my son. He was glad to have that. I think perhaps the biggest news story must have been when Alan Shepard went up in the rocket, the test in space, went up into space, because that was big news at that time. And then when John Glenn went up, that was a little bigger news. So the space industry was coming into its own, and anything that happened out of there made headlines.
Today I decide.
A decision that will change the course of my life.
I want to be successful.
To get there,
I need the perfect fit.
I want tradition,
spirit,
and opportunity.
This is my time. Time to learn,
Experience and explore.
This is the place.
I've decided.
Georgia Southern University.
According to the Bulloch Times, May 2nd, 1929, Statesboro is taking stock of the havoc wrought in her environs by a tornado, which passed through about 11 o'clock on April 25th. With a final record of 31 dead and 64 seriously injured, Bulloch is today turning to its talk of relieving the suffering of those in distress. Roads are blocked at every point and houses were blown to atoms and scattered for miles.
According to the Bulloch Times, February 27, 1930, Floyd Hendricks, 10, hero of last spring's tornado, died Sunday from injuries sustained when a school bus ran over him. It was stated that the boy had climbed out of the bus unknown to the driver until he felt the truck bump something and the children hollered. Last April, when the tornado struck his home and his mother, 2 sisters, and a cousin were killed, his father and an older brother were badly hurt and pinned beneath the building. Little Floyd, injured, freed himself from the wrecked building and ran for nearly a mile in the dead of the night through black darkness amid howling winds to summon aid.
According to the Bulloch Times, November 2, 1933, a crowd which taxed the auditorium to its capacity Tuesday heard Dr. George Carver, noted colored scientist, speak at the chapel of South Georgia Teachers College. The distinguished educator is a member of the faculty of Tuskegee Institute. For more than an hour, he held his audience spellbound as he discussed the lowly peanut and presented more than 80 samples of products which he has evolved from it at his laboratory. He stated that his research has disclosed 285 products from the peanut, and the samples he displayed range from face lotions to round paving and tire rubber.
Having been reared in a happy Christian family, and having to work and value everything. Nothing like it. And then when I married and had the 3 children, I mean, they went to church like they went to school. And fortunately, I am so blessed.
But school was important too.
I was raised in the country, and I went to Polk's Academy School. That was a little school in the country. You go out Lakeview and you make a left turn, and it's back in the woods. And we had to walk to school.
We had long recesses back then to play a lot. We might have had as many as 3 recesses in one day in grammar school when I was small.
The old Julia P. here, I went there from 3rd grade up through 6th grade. And then I went to the William James, which was still our high school.
We had a lot of schools during my time. We had register.
Our parents expected us to go to school. They expected us to make good grades. They expected us to do right, and if we didn't, we knew that we were going to have to face the consequences.
We had Brooklyn.
When we were in the 8th grade, we had 2 Italian families moved here from New York. She said they're wonderful people. We'd never seen them or had them in our community. So here came the Denitos and the Strazos. Loveliest people you'll ever know.
We had Stilson. We had Portal.
I graduated from Portal School, high school. That was before the old school burned. Old school burned about a year later after I graduated, maybe 2 years. I can't remember exactly what year it was that it burned.
Well, we just loved school. It was so different than today. We loved our teachers. We had small classes, and the teachers just loved us.
We had the school out at Georgia Southern, Marvin Pittman High School.
A lot of people out there at the college do not even know this. They had a ASTP unit at Georgia Southern, and some don't even know it was ever there. ASTP was, they brought the soldiers in to Georgia Southern. They stood exams to be civil communications, the different fields which you were talented, engineering, and also to foreign language. And then they shipped them somewhere to school. I got all the orders through the telegraph company, and they would come and pick them up.
And then we had some smaller schools, 8th grade level, 7th, school down at Esla. And we participated with all of these schools, and we knew the people from all of the schools, and this formed a relationship that was just never ending.
But of these two, faith and school, faith is probably the greatest here in Bulloch County.
We call it God's country.
When it's all said and done, faith is what got most of Bulloch County natives through the hard times.
They would go to the church and pray early in the morning till 12 o'clock for rain. And my granddaddy and my great-granddaddy said that they always took an umbrella because it usually would be raining before they got home.
And the locals would certainly be the ones who'd remember how faith saw them through.